I knew I wanted to be a composer probably, sometime in my teenage years where I started to take all of the knowledge and the skills that I had learned from, playing piano and playing the flute and playing in ensembles. And I realized that a lot of the music that I really loved were in the movies that I was watching, in the TV shows, and the video games that I was playing. So I would sit down at the piano and write music, and I thought this music is really kind of perfect for these other things that I'm watching. And I was like, what kind of job is that? It seems like an amazing job, and maybe I can do it. So, that started my journey of figuring out how to become a film and television composer. At the time it was a little bit, I wasn't sure how to do it, but I just decided that I should probably just learn how to write music the best that I possibly could. So I went to school to become a composer. I went to Western University and I just took a lot of composition classes. At the time, they didn't teach you how to write specifically for film and television, but I think by gaining all those fundamental skills of writing and just doing it a lot, I was able to start writing for film and TV a little bit later on, with all this amazing knowledge already inside my head. I do many things, so I'm a teacher as well as a composer, but on the days that I am doing a lot of film composition, I need to get into the headspace of the film or the TV show that I'm working on in that moment. And because I work on animation, but I also work on documentaries and on dramas and things like that, and sometimes advertisements, I really need to get into the stylistic headspace of what that project is going to be. And so I might have to flip-flop between being a little more goofy on one day and then the next day switching into a really serious mode of composition. And so in those days, I completely switch my computer template into a sort of brand new personality, you could say, of composing. I do animation, but I've also just recently done a documentary series on the Great Lakes, which was a lot of composing to beautiful vistas and little animals scurrying around. And then I've also done comedy films, dramatic films. I've done some advertising. I haven't done any video games yet, but I really want to get into that a little more in the future. The collaboration aspect in animation is really based on what I want to write, but also what the producers and what the directors want to have me write as well. So it really is a joint endeavor. And it's never really based on just what I want to do in the moment. There is an approval process that I go through where I compose the music, it gets put up on the picture, and then it gets sent off to the producers, and they have an opportunity to give me notes and to ask me to make adjustments based on, whether they want to go in a different direction or not with the score. Some of my favorite musical composers and pieces, I would have to say, from the classical side, I'm a really big Tchaikovsky fan, which, I would say because when I was younger, I was a ballet dancer. It's very close to my heart, specifically the Nutcracker Ballet, Swan Lake, those kinds of pieces. Just they really lend themselves to visualize a story on stage when you hear the music itself. And then one of my favorites who does film and television, his name is John Powell. He did scores for How to Train Your Dragon, which is a really great animated film franchise that I highly recommend watching. And he's one of my favorites just because of just the amazing ability to get really great themes and melodies happening, and bringing those back throughout the film to build on the meaning of them. And he's also a fantastic orchestrator as well as composer, so he just really takes the orchestra and uses it to its full capacity. It's really amazing. Composer's block is a thing. However, in my job, there's quite tight deadlines. So if you did get composer's block, you're in deep trouble because the deadline's like coming really fast. So basically what you have to do is you just have to write something anyways, even if you know in your heart that what you're currently writing is really not going to make the final cut. And I think what that does is it just kind of pulls a sort of like a flow out of you, and then you can come back on it later and maybe throw it out, but at least something has been coming out of you. And so I would say to anyone who wants to do this particular job or be a writer is that you just take the inspiration. It's right in front of you, actually. So my inspiration is always already created in the picture on the screen.